Good evening, everybody. System Chalk here. We are probably going to be finishing off Dead Space tonight. Going to take a minute to get all of the windows set up. Now, I did wind up leaving work a little bit later than I was planning. The biggest problem here is I did need to order something in for dinner, and that is on its way. It's probably going to take about a half hour to get here. So that's going to likely translate into a small break for, well, one, to get it, and then two, to eat it. But I thought I've had a couple of times where I want to start the stream and, I've needed to wait for something and it just winds up dragging things out. And I'm really trying to start within that 7 to 8 window. Even if it means that I have to take a break or something like that, I would prefer to have a consistent start time for people rather than, just give this. I mean, 1 hour is already a pretty wide window to start with. So, just being able to try and give people a little bit more consistency, and in my case would be nice. But it does mean that there'll be an interruption to the game, which is a little less good. But let's see what we can do with it. I also don't quite remember where we were in terms of the story, so right, so side mission's done. The marker's been dragged down to the cargo bay. I have to get it back. The main access to cargo is via the hangar. I just hope there's enough time. That's right. There's the big tentacle that comes at the last minute to drag me down. I remember back when we took out the big guy here.
There's gotta be a working DNA scanner around here.
Alright, we're definitely doing the side quests. Found a sample of tissue from Mercer's Hunter. If I run it through a DNA scanner, maybe I can figure out what I'm dealing with. Obviously, I don't want to just go barreling through all the levels without checking things out, so we'll still carry on. I know it's so easy to keep repeating this over and over again, but this is a really, really great looking remaster. I realize that's kind of the point of these sorts of things. Like it's like a sunny day and saying, yeah, it's kind of nice out. Like, I realize it's not super sophisticated or original to say, but it must be said, and again, I think I've said this before in terms of the idea that, in my view, there are definitely some stories that do benefit from the environment. So we talked about this in terms of Cyberpunk, how, having Johnny... Hello, Joelwick, how you doing? Having Johnny be able to sort of just gesture to Songbird and say that... that's who they're that's who who Solomon's really interested in. Yeah, no worries. I hope you have a good sleep. Thank you for stopping by and saying hello. I always appreciate it. It's not a major moment, right? It's not like the meaning of the game sort of gets cracked open with that gesture. But I do think, especially in terms of creating, something of a credible world, in terms of, allowing a character you spend a lot of time with, and obviously you're paying a good actor, Keanu Reeves, to play him. So I think being able to do all of those things just gives you a little bit extra. And I think it pays more than, a first glance might suggest. I'm trying to think of the right way to put it. So in that case, that would be a story that's a bit more about characters. That would be one where you do sort of want to care about the dialogue. You do want to care about some of these details. In the case of Dead Space, atmosphere is clearly such a big part of this story. And, you know, we talked earlier, like, the game just does this wonderful job of sort of giving you these peaks and valleys in terms of surprises, and it gives you this really horrible environment to be stuck inside. And the original game on its own absolutely held up. I had an absolute blast playing it.
Mr. Clark, we're approaching the hangar bay. We'll meet you there with the marker. Yes, Amiga Yasu. We'll send the hive mind back into the darkness.
So glad you gave that guy our only escape shuttle. Shit, Isaac. Those things you've killed, the biomass has cooled down incredibly. It's recombined itself into... Well, it's something huge, and the marker's embedded right in the middle. How the hell do we do this?
I've got the Ishimura's cargo cranes. They can move half a bay of mining gear, no problem. If whatever's down there wants to wrestle with the marker, I'm in.
Override the safeties, and yes, it might work. But hurry. We're losing critical systems fast.
Still waiting on the tissue sample. But yeah, so in this case here, right, like, I remember playing this game. I'm pretty sure Dead Space 3 had already been released by the time that I played the first one. And I had an absolute blast. So I just sort of think in a case like this where, you know, like, I actually genuinely do not remember ever seeing Isaac Clarke in the original game. I think that might have been something that they added to this version. I could be wrong. I mean, again, my memory of this game hasn't been all that reliable in the first place. But you know, again, to just be able to take advantage of so many of the developments that have happened since that game came out, and, you know, I talked a little bit about the level design and the possibility that it may have been constrained in terms of the ability to, I wonder if we're going to go back to Nicole's little hiding place to do the tissue sample. That would be a nice little connection. But yeah, you know, we talked about the level and how, to a certain extent, you can kind of see this almost as a sort of Metroidvania in a way. And how, you know, this game kind of gets away with having things be beautiful just for the sake of being beautiful. Of course, beauty here being something of a relative term. Obviously it's wild.
Beginning DNA analysis. Match found for Grant Harris, mining contractor, Aegis 7. Registered physician, Dr. Thomas Mercer. Warning. Severe DNA abnormalities found. Rig tracking is available to trace possible contagion. Authorize.
Harris, what did Mercer do to you? Authorize.
Syncing logs and points of interest to Rig Locator. Thank you for your commitment to public health.
I feel like a couple of these might be something that I should have done earlier on in the game, but again, I'm happy to learn a little bit more about the world. But yeah, so what I was trying to say earlier, like, if you think about some of the developments, so again, I don't know if they needed to conserve space for the world, because it's worth remembering, like, I am spoiled as a PC gamer. There's, you know, it's not unlimited space, but certainly I have some fairly straightforward options in terms of expanding my ability to access, you know, access the resources to realize other games. But in the end, if a game's going to be, a big game is going to be a PC-only release, and good. these? There we go. But yeah, you know, if you essentially, if it's going to be a big game, it more or less has to have a console release to make it worth making, right? It's sort of like saying, you know, you're only going to be in one store, and it's in, you know, and then it turns out to be like not a first-tier store. Now, some people do that. Some people, their entire business strategy is sort of built around only being available in a single store. I'm wondering if at this point I just empty. Yeah, I'm thinking now's the time for us to. Actually, tell you what, let's do this after the side mission. No, sorry, indecisive again. I should do it now because I don't know when I'm going to find my next upgrade bag. It's tempting to get all of these upgrades as well, but yeah, in any case, so even if you want to imagine that PC is the only destination for it, and again, I don't mean to imply that this isn't true for some games.
Emergency. Internal hull breaches detected.
But I think it would be fair to say that the majority do need to account for some kind of console release. And so as a result, you do need to worry about the space there. And of course, I think it would be fair to say that that's going to be a constraint that has some teeth in the case of a game like Dead Space. So again, the use of the environment is...
Emergency. Internal hull breaches detected.
It's effective both in the sense of sort of establishing the place and being able to build up the, you know, the Metroidvania and so on and so forth, but also just in terms of should probably use some health spray. This is not ideal. I want to find something to throw at it. There are usually lights.
Danger. Containment field approaching maximum capacity.
Nope, I'm dead. I forgot the automatic heal button. Well, not automatic, but quick heal button. Maybe F? Anyways, that's on me for not... Oh, wow. I really let that go. Alright, I'll just be more careful next time. But yeah, so one of the things that I think really works for the remake, or the remaster, is it's not even that we have more tech to work with now. although I think that's true, and I think it works very, or more space to work with, right? So the thing is that the game's already been made, and the game's already very good, so the idea of maybe taking that effort and putting that into, you know, a bigger level or something like that, maybe isn't necessarily the best use.
Found for Brant Harris, mining contractor, Aegis 7. Registered physician, Dr. Charles Mercer. Warning. Severe DNA abnormalities found. Rig tracking is available to trace possible contagion. Authorize.
Harris, what did Mercer do to you? Authorize.
Syncing logs and points of interest to Rig Locator. Thank you for your commitment to public health.
According to DNA records, this hunter used to be a miner called Brant Harris. Sounds like Mercer treated Harris in medical's ICU. There could be more evidence there. But yeah, the way that this translates, and this might have something to do with, well, actually no, I guess this would be an Unreal 5 thing, so probably that doesn't apply here. I was just thinking about Nanite and some of the space requirements for it. But, you know, like the fact the game's got ray tracing, right? You've got all of these nice visual effects in a game which is based, you know, very largely on the atmosphere and how it makes you feel. And in this case here, there's just this really wonderful foundation. Again, you've got the modern tech, but essentially in the service of sort of a feeling that was already effectively communicated in the earlier form. It's also the reason why I've never really liked the attitude. Like, I know sometimes it's just the hipster card, but I've never really enjoyed the view that when people are like, I don't need good graphics to enjoy a game. And it's like, I don't really think anybody's saying, you know, I won't like the game unless it looks like, you know, you don't even need VR, right? You know, but I do think a lot of people do have this expectation that, you know, the game have a certain cohesion. I remember actually talking with someone who worked in games, and I was talking about, you know, the difficulty to actually make something look good, and we both wound up using Gunpoint as an example, and I actually thought of it as something that to me was unattainably good. And the reason I say unattainably good is that is a very cohesive, that is an interesting visual style. It's pixel art, but not all pixel art is made equally, right? There are some really great old, like, I guess 80s, 90s style games that look very interesting. And there's pixel art today that looks like there's very little effort put into it. I should probably save at this point here, just because of my tendencies towards self-sabotage. And yeah, I don't know, like that, and I think another good example of this, while I haven't played it, would be Alien Isolation. Something that was able to take advantage of the really effective art direction, and sounded like something was in there. Yeah, the really effective art direction, the really effective visual style of the original Alien film, that it was able to take that and turn that into an experience that was sort of worthy of that movie. Like, here's a good example. You know, I realize I complain quite a bit about how often...
Multiple system failures detected. Unable to reroute critical functions.
How often it feels like we're sort of picking up the Blade Runner leftovers. Although, as I also say, you know, sometimes, like, if you're going to be inspired by something, that is a very good movie to be inspired by. But, you know, what if... What if you could play a Blade Runner game that looked like this, right? Or what if you could have a, you know, an Alien Isolation style experience set in the Blade Runner universe that took that kind of care and attention to the style and feeling of the original movie. Now, the challenge here, of course, is that Blade Runner doesn't necessarily translate as well to a game. It's not to say that people haven't tried to do it, but maybe some of the things that made that such an interesting story.
I was recording. Here, look up for me. Just a sliver of bone between us and Marcus. Relax. It won't be like ages 7 and that unpleasantness with the nurse.
Wasn't the nurse when I... This errand you want me to do in ore storage. The miners won't like it.
They're probably as narrow-minded as the miners in the colony is. Tormenting someone. Being
Yeah, they do. I'm ready.
easy. If I insert this material in the right region of the brain.
Oh God. I can see the Marcus codes. It's been trying to show me. They're hungry. They're coming. They'll make us whole. Doctor, I see it now. The marker speaks. We can answer.
Tell me how.
Tracking related rig activity.
Creation, Mercer created some regenerating monster. He calls us Hunter. I got to know more about what I'm up against. Yeah, this definitely feels like something that I should have done before I roasted it with the shuttle. Oh well, I'd like to have as much of the experience as I can. But yeah, I mean, again, that's not to imply that Alien is any more of its visual style either. But again, you know, scares do work.
Emergency. Deck evacuation protocols are in effect.
Scares do tend to work pretty well in games, and I know some people don't care for things like Amnesia. You know, I think it's probably a bit more of a matter of taste than a few other things, but.
Warning. Structural integrity compromised.
But I do think it's a little easier to replicate the feeling of Alien in a video game, and specifically a video game with a very, you know, very high quality
Mining engineering.
pass on the visuals. Whereas I think there was a So again, this is one I haven't played, but I think I got it on GOG. I believe there was a Blade Runner game, which was a bit more of an adventure game, and I think they really did try to play around a bit with the idea of who is a replicant and who isn't, and to give you a little bit of a question in terms of actually, I think they might have even randomized in some cases who wound up being a replicant, which I think is a really interesting way of approaching it, right? Because if you imagine today, right, if you were to play a Blade Runner game, you would have people who say, you know, oh, I just gotta, you know, I can't retire a human by mistake. I want to go check out the wiki and see who that is. And randomizing that is such a wonderful idea. Now, again, that's not what they were trying to do, but you can sort of see that's such a wonderful way of getting past that and actually forcing people to either pay attention or deal with consequences. You know, this idea of feeling very nervous around the decision to retire. Anyways, obviously this isn't Blade Runner. And of course, that's the one, that's the gripe that I would have if there was a Blade Runner game like that, which is, you know, can't you tell your own stories? Which is, of course, exactly what this does. And very well. There's actually another idea that I had, or not I was wondering about. I am curious if there has ever been a detective game. So if you think of a detective game, very often it's sort of like you're working on your way to the truth, right? That you the detective are working towards the catch the killer, find who stole the items, find the treasure. There's a set of kind of conventions that you'll have in those sorts of stories. But very often you have, the personal demons. Let's say, okay, this so clearly is going to kill me. Also can't believe I missed this.
Security request retrieved.
Security, we got some freak called Harris stealing from ore storage.
Dr. Mercer sent me for osmium to complete his work.
Yeah, I don't care if God Almighty sent you. You skim from CEC's profit margin, we get screwed.
God?
So, you can put that osmium down, or I can break your arms first.
I worked with people like you on Aegis 7. They'd steal my power nodes. Leave me to dig with no light.
Hey! Get off me!
When they abandon you in the dark, it's not empty. The marker whispered its revelations there. Now I understand them. Do you want to hear?
Warning. Untrained personnel may not use suit kiosk.
No! Stop! Please!
I said please when they shut me in. Screamed it too. I promise I won't laugh like they did.
Warning. Suit kiosk is obstructed. Serious injury may occur.
Oh God! Help me!
Incident report filed to Bridge by Dr. Nicole Brennan. See related rig activity.
Actually, to a certain extent, we can kind of talk. We have something a little bit like that here, right? the fight with Nicole. The computer said that Nicole filed a report on the bridge about what Harris did in ore storage. How was she involved? Now, I think my food has arrived. I'm going to try and take it to the bitter end. Yep, nope, I gotta go. So, I will be back in just a minute. I'm sorry to leave you all like this, but I will try to make it quick. So I'll run ads, I'll go up, well, maybe try and get a drink and all of that sorted out as well. I'll leave you on the main screen, and then we will be back for a full session as soon as I'm back. See you in a little bit. Okay, sorry to leave you all like that. I think we're ready to go. I forgot to get water. I have tea on the way, but 2 minutes. Okay. So I do kind of regret not checking the stuff earlier, but I am interested in seeing where it goes. Yeah, so there was a side of me that sort of wonders, is there room for a detective story sort of in a game, let's say, where, guess go to A? Probably B. I don't know, we'll figure it out. But where essentially, you know, you have, let's go for the stereotype, right? The detective haunted by their demons as they pursue the case. You know, is there a version of that game where there is no necessarily canonical end to the mystery? You know, you can catch the guy or not, but it never offers you certainty as to whether or not you got the right person. It's sort of left to the player to decide. And then, of course, the ancillary concerns of... Oh no, the returns! Never did get a handle on the Wii Turtles. And that's my tea. Just 1 second, please. Yeah, so whether you take it as, you know, in the end the case doesn't matter, the characters made peace with themselves or hasn't made peace with themselves, you know, or any number of ways that you can do it, or, you know, they're actually a corrupt cop and they went for whatever allowed them to, you know, finish the job. There's a whole bunch of different ways that you can sort of unpack it, but I could also imagine there's one of two answers that players... Oh, sounds like I'm getting my ass kicked. Alright. I can imagine it being, you know, a very bold choice, one that sort of people recognize as a, you know, a well-done story that, you know, went new places, wasn't afraid to take a risk. And then I can also see it being something that just frustrates people to no end, that, you know, the contract was not fulfilled, that ultimately, you know, the audience sort of feels like they weren't given what they were originally, you know, what they had originally signed on for, let's say. Just trying to think what the best option here would be. Force gun's kind of tempting. Line gun does more damage though, so. I can't get it to that last damage, so that makes me think that maybe the force gun isn't appropriate target now. What's my inventory look like? Honestly, what else am I going to use the health for, right? But yeah, it's just sort of this idea that, you know, you're the storyteller, you know, you're supposed to give me a good yarn, and you didn't provide me the satisfaction of knowing how it all ended.
Warning. Multiple system failures detected. Unable to reroute critical functions. Emergency. Deck evacuation protocols are in effect.
So this would actually, one example I can kind of give of this not working well would be, right, the way the game is sort of set it up right now is that there is this, you know, the final moments of the Ishimura, right? There's this giant alien massing at the bottom. We've lost the last lifeboat. We're running out of time. There's, you know, every reason to hurry. But we know that the game is not going to penalize me for going around and finishing these side quests. And in fact, if the game started doing a timer and didn't allow me to finish these side quests, I'd probably get a bit annoyed with it. So, you know, it's always the idea where sometimes, you know, the idea of reality, for lack of a better term, can seem really cool right up until the time you have to implement some of this stuff, and then it's actually quite miserable. I'm just going to take a second here to change the loadouts a bit. What would my alternative... I don't know how I feel about the Ripper in position 2, but let's give it a shot. Definitely feel I should be using this thing more, though. That'll get me through my ammo quick.
Emergency. All personnel proceed to your designated safe zone immediately.
Bridge lower, though. Huh. Pretty sure I can find it from here. I guess I can check the map too, but I'm not necessarily in a rush. I'm still enjoying the atmosphere. Okay, Captain's Nest and escape pods. Well, maybe it does count as being in here then. Olaf, hope you're doing, hope you're doing well. But thank you for the message. Hope you're doing well, and also Boo. Thank you very much, Olaf. I do appreciate the continued support, especially because I feel, I don't know, for a few streams that you've been in, I don't always feel like God's gift to streaming. So the fact that you're kind of here and still supporting, I think probably just tells me I should be, you know, upping my game, but I do appreciate that you're still giving me a chance. But most of all, I'm just happy to see you. I'll confess I've been floundering a little bit on this side quest, so I'm gonna go to the captain's nest and see if I can maybe find a bit more. Okay, definitely getting colder. Well, that's good. You know, it's a tricky one, right? Like it's I think it's foolish to pretend that there are not people you are more and I suppose by implication less happy to see. And you know, I think that's going to be inevitable, and I think the important part of that is not to pretend that it's a completely egalitarian environment, and instead just, you know, enjoy the fact that there are unusually pleasant people to have inside of the channel, as opposed to sort of resenting it not being one of them, for instance. But it does actually mean quite a bit coming from you, because you are definitely one of the people, and you know, it manifests in a few different ways. But you know, there are some people where, you know, if you're doing well, you know, you're doing a good show, you're like, yeah, I'm really glad, you know, so-and-so was here to see that. Or, you know, or very often it's the case that these are the people where, you know, I seem to remember struggling with this in the original game too, although there was that bit that I didn't remember. Oh, here we go.
Log retrieved.
Let me just give me a minute.
Fine, then we'll waste more time and record this. Satisfied?
No, I'm not satisfied. We have a dead miner. We can't sedate Brand Harris.
Wasn't Harris originally your patient? Could have warned us that he'd go berserk.
Captain, Harris is suffering from dementia that we don't fully understand. He was making progress until Dr. Mercer took his case over my objections.
I've read them. And frankly, this vendetta against Dr. Mercer just sounds like more of your bigotry.
My what?
Do you deny that you've counseled members of our church and turned them against unitology?
I'm telling you that Mercer's treatments are immoral and dangerous. And why does he keep taking Harris to hydroponics? Medical is a sanctuary, not Mercer's private lab, so stop covering for him.
More accusations, still no proof. You know your way out.
He won't stop with Brand Harris, Captain. You know that.
Sorry, I'm enjoying some
Tracking related rig activity.
I'm enjoying some dinner while the scene plays out. There was a brisket sandwich. I had to order in, so a brisket sandwich, and I'm just enjoying the side. It's been a while since I've had brisket though, so that's kind of nice. And a tea. I would do coffee, except that I pretty much always have a morning meeting now, so. Nicole tried to stand up for Harris. In her report, she said Mercer took Harris to hydroponics. Let's see what Mercer was doing there. But yeah, anyways. Yeah, for what it's worth, I don't mean to belabor the point, and I realize that the game sort of jumped in between, but I am actually genuinely happy when you're hero, as much as I can. Oh crap! Shoot, you fool! Well, this is a bit of a pickle. Aha, yes. You know, I miss. I actually I tend not to take the opportunity as much as I could here too. So I feel like that's even more shameful of me. I think I am gonna save the one in this case. I'm glad someone like you beat me about, yeah. But yeah, I don't think I can bring myself to have a coffee for the full Olaf dinner. Hello, Night 97. Good to see you. By the way, what have you been streaming lately? For those of you who don't know, Night 97, I actually know better through a podcast that D-Paid runs. I actually got to be on it at the same time, but Night 97 is somebody who I normally see. For a while would just think that Night and D-Pain are one and the same because I always see them. Oh, fair enough. I'm never sure if I don't see people because I am a write-only streamer, because my schedule is completely warped now, or because people are enjoying a break. All of them perfectly legitimate reasons, but obviously ones that have varying degrees of blame on my part. Well, very nice. So what is, when you say legacy board games, are you talking about like Pandemic Legacy, or are you talking about like, I don't know, Candyland or something like that? I've never heard the term legacy board games. Or if I have heard the term legacy board games, I'm not remembering. Okay.
Hydroponics.
So I think the innovation of Pandemic Legacy was basically that it was sort of a you buy a game that changed. Okay, interesting. Because I always wondered if it was just like there was this idea that it was something that had these elements that you could kind of only use once, which I know was like it kind of feels like this goes in phases, right? Like sometimes.
Now arriving at hydroponics.
You know, you'll have like a sticker book or something like that, and those are, you know, marketing loves those because, you know, you buy them once and you have to get another one, and then everybody's like, no, if we don't give something that people can reuse, they won't buy it. And then it feels like Pandemic Legacy was the one that sort of broke a trend on that. So, old school of Hero Quest. I've heard of. Didn't that used to be a Games Workshop game? I've never played it. But I always hear of it in reference to like D&D, like people who like RPGs. End result of a legacy game is still usable to play the normal game after legacy campaign. Okay. It was before D&D. Interesting. All right, we turtles. No! Damn it! They're never gonna win against them. Well, these things, I think, spit. Not again.
This is Dr. Elizabeth Cross. To all survivors, turn back. It's all gone. Everything we grew. My team. All dead. That monster. Please, leave. Get somewhere safe. If I can find a way to kill it somehow. Jacob.
That's really interesting. Damn it. music makes it sound like there's still something coming to get me. But yeah, it actually feels, I like this idea of having, so there's something that I kind of like that you've described. I really like this idea of having like some kind of an artifact of your playtime together. But there is this idea of like, particularly because board games are not they're not inexpensive. So this idea of this thing that is still reusable, but does have sort of a marker of the, of the time that you spent with friends. Like, I feel like that's a good way of doing it. Nice. Yeah, I'd only ever heard of Pandemic Legacy. I don't know if it was the first or if it was just the first I had heard of, but it's an interesting idea. And I've never heard of Ticket to Ride Western Legends. I played the digital version for a while. I actually only just found out that the mobile, like the servers for it, the online component is basically down, which is a shame. And I wound up playing a bit. Actually, one of my favorite things about Risk, Olaf, I can't remember if I told you this. I'm sorry if I have, but for a while in the city that I grew up in, there'd be a group of people who would kind of get together, and every once in a while we'd do a board game or something like that. And it's like, it's with family as well, so it's not quite the same as like a group of friends. Like there's a family dynamic there as well. Pardon me. You have goodies? You do. Did I get goodies out of you? Oh, thank you. Yeah, so there's friends of the family, kind of a diverse group of age ranges. Now, I thought we dealt with this already. Ah, crap. That was a terrible decision on my part.
Don't mind me reporting to you. You lose language.
Toxic hazard cleared.
Green here. There was business to work discreetly. They keep poisons here that would never be allowed in Predator, and now it is vulnerable to all. Will I choose you? If you try, Mr. Harris, I have options. The containment module, for example. Remember your last brain surgery? This was consciousness? Quite useful. If only I hadn't wasted so much osmium on my last module design. And how do you feel now? Dead. Awake. Whole. Then perhaps it's time for your first real hunt.
Okay, that might be the last of the side quests. If you can just give me a quick second, I'm gonna... Actually, if you can just give me a second, I'm gonna step away from the keyboard for a minute. I'll be back very quickly. Okay, apologies about that. But yeah, so it would always kind of be the same routine every time we played. It would be like, okay, everybody, you know, nobody ally with System Chalk. You know, he always betrays us. Always, you know, it's always how he wins. You know, we're all ganging up on him, right? The coalition. Hello, Mad Dad. And I'm like, you know, I think fairly reasonably say, you know, hey, that's not really fun for me. Could maybe reconsider this. I remember once I was even told, nope, just stop talking. You always do this. We're on to you, you know, the usual thing. And I'm like, okay, I mean, look, like I said, it's not very fun for me, but we'll see how this plays out. It was always a little different each time, but usually what it kind of came down to, there'd usually be one spot where I want, and it's inevitably some part of the map that may be either from the way they've played before, or you know, something else. You know, I feel there's an opportunity and it's not really being realized. Like, I'll be able to sort of have a degree of security and build out from there. So eventually, usually the trick would be to sort of go to the other side. It's like, okay, well, here's the deal, right? I'm done anyway. Now, you know, if you keep building up forces on this border, like, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to build up. I'm going to throw everything I possibly can at this. You know, I may not win, but I definitely get to decide that you don't win either. You know, something kind of along those lines. And usually there'd be a little bit of back and forth on this, right? They'd sort of test it, and I'd commit, right? Because if I don't break the coalition, there's no way I'm winning anyway, right? So, you know, there's a little bit of a question in terms of signaling commitment, but once that part's taken care of,
internal hull breaches detected.
You know, the resolve would sort of weaken a little bit. And then there'd be, you know, wait, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, I've got nothing else to do. I might as well make a good show of it. I said, just like, you know, we're obviously, I mean, I'd usually be something that's like, you know, you put a unit there, I'm going to put 2 or 3 down. You know, it's like whatever I think I can kind of get away with. And so I was like, look, I'll tell you what, you know, I have no interest in this side. I think this is a waste of my units. If you want, you can allocate units to balance out whatever will make you feel safe. And I won't build up here if you don't build up here. And of course, this is the time where the rest of the table's screaming, you know, don't listen to him, this is what he does all the time, and so on and so forth. But the thing is that, you know, nobody's an idiot. Like, you don't play Risk so that you can keep the coalition together. You know, you play Risk so you can win. So I gave up probably too much health to use up that ammo, but did the trick. Yeah, I think this works, you know. And, you know, true to my word, like, I was always a little uncomfortable with the, you know, the lopsided distribution, but then, you know, and then of course, you know, the ideal would be if I was next to somebody who was clearly onto my tricks. You know, they're the first one who's got to go. But, you know, at that point, you know, there's already the cracks in the coalition, and it's usually easier to break it after you've got at least one defection. And of course, inevitably by the end, it's a long and drawn out game because it's Risk after all, right? It's not. It's usually not the sort of thing where everybody's happy by the end. I don't know, I feel I did well. Usually it would end, especially too because, you know, I'm very into games and the rest of the group there is not necessarily. very into games, so I have stubbornness working in my favor too. But by the end of the game, you know, there's usually the agreement is like, this happens every time, you know, nobody ally with him next time. That's my experience of Risk, basically. Kept my word, though.
Emergency. Internal hull breaches detected.
Okay, we are back on track. Might as well get my money's worth. Didn't really do much. Yeah, that was not my smartest move.
Logging security card.
Light's absolutely great in this. I do, I think probably this is just because of the camera background, but I would actually really love to see, you know, someone who does a lighting pass. Because, like, so far as I can understand, the development of this sort of stuff still is quite specialized on games like this, and I'd really just love to see what the dedicated specialist work looks like to realize a level like this. I realize it's not the only part that goes into the realization, but it's probably the one that I'm the most curious about. So I realize Isaac is not showing any sense of urgency, but I need loot. These guys are the worst. This sort of stuff I always really like. Again, like I know I like indie games, and I know this is expensive to do, but I like it when the games have the opportunity to do something like this. I'm so dead. Ah, crap.
Caution. Access bridge is obstructing transfer.
Let's get my goodies before I go too far. I don't have that much in terms of the cutter.
Access bridge is obstructing transfer.
Oh, hell no. There's something throwing something at me. I just need to... I need a second to just reload. Oh, there you are.
Caution. Access bridge is obstructing transfer.
Yeah, thanks. Probably going to want to reconsider the flamethrower soon.
Caution. Access bridge is obstructing transfer.
What new series of outrages does the game have in play in store for me?
To the hangar bay.
The marker. Good work, Mr. Clark. On our way.
Kind? Your flight path goes by airlock 19. I can get there from the computer core.
A pickup? Yes, we'll be there.
Can you make it to the airlock alone?
No movement on the cameras. I'm just gonna run for it. Wish me luck.
I think, yeah, oh hell no is about as, that is the strongest reaction that I can, That's the strongest reaction I can offer in a game like this. I'm trying to remember the exact line, but somebody told me that apparently the strongest opinion that a British diplomat could offer, and this is like, you know, the ICBMs are launched, like, you know, that's it.
Emergency. Deck evacuation protocols are in effect.
And I believe it was something to the effect of Her Majesty's government cannot look favorably on this development, or something along those lines. So,
Structural integrity compromised.
trying to follow the mother country in terms of my gauging my appropriate reactions. New special ability. So really, I'm looking for damage. So plasma cutters maxed, pulse rifles maxed, Ripper I can get with 2, flamethrowers maxed, line gun can't get with 2, contact beam doesn't have a... I can see the force gun working. Oh, I screwed it up. Oh well.
Warning. Multiple system failures detected. Unable to reroute critical functions.
Honestly, the little baby ones are obnoxious. I don't think I ever really worked out a... I don't think I ever worked out at an ideal, you know, when I'm going up against one of these, use this. When I'm going up against one of those, you know. And I don't think I ever worked out the rock, paper, scissors of the weapons, but... I'm not.
Fuck. Fuck, it's my brother. On the monitor, he's right by the airlock.
Don't let this place get to you. Kendra, we're out of time.
He's not there. I can make it if I run.
I heard something.
Hazardous anomaly detected. Quarantine activated.
I'm guessing that's not the only one.
did.
You know, I will also say, this is one thing I never really realized about this game. The fact that it's still, like, for this game, if you think about it, like, the one thing that you can rely on is the, you know, the room gets locked down and the aliens are kind of coming after you, right? Like, that is the one beat that you will reliably get over the course of...
Your colleague's safely on board.
My name is Kendra Daniels. Stand by, Isaac. He's bringing the shuttle in now.
That's always like the story beat that you can rely on in this game, and yet even though we're clearly at the end, like it still hasn't lost...
I can't run the automated loading controls. Must be the damage to the ship.
We're losing time. The hive mind is down there.
Kind, relax. I'll turn off the gravity in the hangar, then I can load the marker by hand.
All right. No, don't worry, Amelia. They understand.
Jesus.
Yeah, like, even though this has been a very reliable beat throughout, like, the intensity still gets up there. There's still sort of that sense of panic when, you know, they seem to come out of nowhere. And I'm guessing that it's more than just, you know, I wonder which monster I'm going to bring out this time, right? Like, there's clearly more construction behind that. But of course, what matters the most for me is the fact that they, you know, they do it at all. I don't necessarily need to study it to be able to enjoy it. I know I've been relying on the guide a little too much, but. There's some goodies in here for me, but I wonder what they're gonna... Oh, come on. There we go. There's power there. I'm guessing that's just for show. I don't think there's a section I need to power up. I really do like the camera effects they do. Obviously, it wreaks havoc with my ability to figure out what's going on. Something wishes very bad things on me. Oh. Alright, where are you, Matt? Track control offline. I hear him, I just can't see him. go. Goodies? No goodies. Oh, goodies.
There it is. The marker.
The safeties are still on. I need to restore gravity before we can load it.
Hurry, please.
I'm gonna guess that they're forcing me on a long journey to the trip just to pad out the game. There will be
On
no
board.
significance.
Come, quickly.
Go open the hatch for him.
Her tone changed really quickly with the marker. I'm guessing.
Cole, is she here?
Can I use your health back?
Sorry, Isaac. I couldn't trust him with the marker.
Kendra, what are you doing?
What my department sent me here to do. Even if the Valor couldn't help me out like I wanted.
Department? Who are you?
I work for EarthGov, cleaning up a very, very old mess. I told you and Hammond that Aegis 7 was off limits. The planet was one big government experiment. The marker, this divine artifact, it was built by human hands.
That's impossible. It's an alien world. The miners dug up the fucking thing.
After it was planted here a few hundred years ago. Even Kai didn't pick up on that. They found the first marker in some crater on Earth. That one. That was real. Alien. Enough to inspire unitology. Our people studied it and reverse engineered this red marker. But they needed somewhere to test it.
Aegis 7.
You've seen the result. The stuff of nightmares. I thought the old reports were just hysteria. Until I saw what I saw. They sealed off the whole system, buried the records nice and clean. Until CEC got greedy. Those idiots tore Aegis 7 apart and woke up with the old research team left behind.
So EarthGov sends you to sweep it all under the rug. Damn it, we have to return the marker. If anyone else stumbles across Aegis 7...
It was disappeared once. We can do it again. I've seen how the marker fucks with your head. It must be contained. what it's worth. We made a great team. You'll find another way off the Ishimura. I mean, you're one hell of an engineer.
Your experiment's gonna kill us all! Daniels!
That was a nice twist. I'm not gonna lie, so there was that side of me that wondered, it's like, okay, maybe she's, you know, a secret unitologist or something like that. I completely forgot the Earthgov angle, or that the marker...
Isaac, come in, it's Nicole.
Where are you?
In the flight control room. Please, you have to come up here now. There's still a way out for us, but we don't have much time.
But yeah, so that whole little subplot I completely forgot. And the other thing is, I'm at this point wondering if Nicole is... Like, I'm still kind of under the assumption that Nicole is the marker, effectively manipulating me, but I'm actually trying to find out what the marker wants, whether it wants to wind up on Earth or it wants to be restored to Aegis 7. Presumably it does not want what's happening to it, otherwise it wouldn't be directing me through Nicole. But we're gonna find out.
Emergency. Deck evacuation protocols are in effect.
I'm also learning it was apparently a little too early for me to buy up all the stuff. I have not played 2 and 3, that is correct. I've seen a very, very small bit of 2. I remember it's got a hell of an opener, but I'm definitely not opposed to playing the sequels. I might give it a rest on the stream just because there are some things that I want to get through.
There you are.
Thank God you're here. The ship's coming apart. I saw what you've been through. Your investigation, Mercer. What happened with us?
We don't have to talk about it.
I need you to know I'm sorry about everything.
It's okay, Isaac. You know I forgive you. I love you.
Well, good, but...
There's still hope. You can recall the shuttle and remote pilot it from here. Bring back the marker and we can return it to Aegis 7. You can make us whole again.
I just want to make things right.
Then let's do it together.
Yeah, I really like the way that they've personified the marker through Nicole.
Recalling shuttle USG-09. Prepping remote docking procedures.
Damn it, Isaac! You don't know what you're doing!
I know. I'm finally doing the smart thing.
You fucking kidding me? Shit!
Warning. Escape pod launch detected from shuttle USG-09.
Escape pod. Damn! We lost her.
It doesn't matter. She can't escape her fate. But who can?
Yeah, I mostly just want a chance to catch up on a few of the things I've been wanting to broadcast, but I would.
Here it comes. Isaac.
Ishimura's finished. If we get on that shuttle, there's no going back.
Leave no regrets. Go. I'll reprogram the shuttle with our flight path to Aegis 7 and join you on board.
Don't leave me waiting.
Never again.
This is one thing that I'm a little unclear on. So whenever Nicole is performing certain actions that are changing the world, if this is just supposed to be Isaac acting unconsciously, or there's something else going on, and it's not really something worth spending too much time thinking about. I have absolutely no doubt that the team behind this has a very clear idea in terms of how it works. Whether I'm going to know it by the end is another question. Sabotage me.
Emergency.
I'm assuming the warning that there's no going back, this is kind of telling me to use the last of my resources, but I need to... Yeah. Alright, fine. Could have told me earlier. Well, I guess they did. Sorry, I might as if the game's warning me like that, I might as well.
Warning.
Might as well spend the last
Structural integrity compromised.
Going nuts, am I? There was a... Huh. Nicole and I can have another fight if I don't get on this shuttle.
Emergency.
I could have sworn there was a...
breaches detected.
I mean, it's not worth dragging myself all over the ship to try and find it.
Emergency. All personnel proceed to your designated safe zone immediately.
Together then. This all began in the core of the planet.
Daniel said EarthGov built the marker. Some experiment they abandoned hundreds of years ago.
If you're not ready, your miracle must be as terrifying as a nightmare. The planet was restless, hungry, It'll try to eat us alive. But we have the marker. We'll put things back the way they were. We will be whole.
I'm not sure what that means, Night 97, but good luck. I'm sorry, I don't mean to sound insincere.
Upload the marker from the console. Come on.
Look. Light in the sky.
Gravity tethers on the Ishimura are feeling the tectonic load. We don't have long before all that rock falls. How do we do this?
We return the marker to its pedestal. The loading track leads directly to the excavation site. It'll work. The hive mind will obey. We'll be whole again. We'll be together. Come on, we need to hurry.
How does a game tell you you're getting ready for a boss fight without saying you're getting ready? Ah, gotcha. God damn it. So, one of the things I'd been meaning to say about this for a while, and I always kept getting distracted, is the other influence in this game, which I don't think I've talked about enough, The Exorcist. Now, obviously, it's one really specific...
The signal changes us, recombines us, but there's a dead space in that signal. Around the marker itself, the eye of the storm. They can't stay in it for long.
I've seen it. But this pedestal, why there?
It amplifies. The marker's pulse will be felt across the planet. The dead will sleep, and the living will see what can't be forgotten.
PCSI retrieval order from Captain Matthias. Retrieve victims of Union Square mass suicide from Aegis 7. Bodies are to be transported to the USG Ishimura morgue with security escort. Notify Doctors G. Domus and T. Kine upon arrival. Assignment: Sergeant G. Weller, Officer Blaine, Officer Hutchins, Private Carklands, authorized by Chief A. Vincent, PCSI Security. It's Gabe. Yeah, I know it's casket duty, but I think you'll like this one. I hear a buddy of yours is down on Aegis 7. A kitty assignment like this should leave time for a meetup. Don't scare the rookie. Parts made with ABS have a higher thermal resistance once printed. It's kind of important for things that get close to hot parts in the printer. Fair enough. I know a couple of people with 3D printers. One thing I do kind of like about
This is Sergeant Bram Newman. PSEC evacuation report. The shuttle's gone. Took off and then crashed right back down into the bay. Took a whole crowd with it. Must be 100 people dead. We've lost the rest of the shuttles. God help us. There's no way out. Anyone hearing this, do not land. I repeat, do not land on Aegis 7. Fuck the Ishimura. They left us to die.
I was just waiting for it to say, and here's an even super deluxe suit for you. So I guess the question at this point is ammo or upgrades more important to me. Nice if I remembered to ring the Hal. Yeah, one thing that's kind of fun about libraries is that, I mean, I still like them for the books, but they are very good at adapting. So, you know, you can get video games from them, you can get, you know, movies, and a number of them have been setting up these maker spaces. So, I kind of know I have the option of 3D printing if I want it, but I've never actually taken the plunge. What do you normally use it for, if you don't mind me asking?
Unknown biohazard detected. Quarantine in progress.
Sacre bleu! I'm not sure I can get out of this one.
quarantine.
Very, very
Do you
sloppy.
miss them, Isaac?
The Kellyan team? Yeah.
And your parents? Your mother was a unitologist. She believed.
She believed so much it killed her. Is this what she would have wanted?
She did. Would that make this easier?
Maybe it's a good thing I'll never know.
Okay, let's take a minute here to reorganize. We can keep you in... Well, first of all, let's reload the combat theme. This is a 3D printing lately is for upgrades for the printer, mostly recently parts for multi-material printing. So it's like an RPG, just building your own experience points for your printer. Fair enough.
Isaac, there's no power in this section. The marker won't move. We're losing time.
It's okay. Hit test connection. What's it say?
Power failure detected. Tether generator. Gravity control.
One of the ground side gravity motors. Busted power line. I'm on it.
Please hurry. We can't go now.
I was hoping I wouldn't get hit by one of those things, but anyway.
Now entering tether control. Cross-contamination field engaged. Warning, main power interrupted. Tether generators are offline.
It's the power outage. It's gotta be my crewmate. I guess I don't know that for sure, but...
Restored to east generator. central generator.
Alright, well, I'm stumped. Game over. Unless I'm supposed to bring it from another part of the level. I was thinking it might be on top of one of these stacks, but then I remembered, like, it may still be, but I was thinking, like, okay, maybe I gotta climb up on some of these things that I'm moving. I guess maybe I pull it out of the...
Emergency elevator offline. Yeah. Notifying maintenance. Power restored to west generator. Power restored to tether generators. Ready for restart. Restarting tether. Now entering zero gravity.
Damn it, Isaac. Power is slowing again. Come back to the marker quickly. The excavation site's just up ahead. Make it home.
I figure if this is gonna kill the last of my flame, so be it. I can at least get something out of it. Wait, what I meant to do? Okay, that could probably make some progress, huh? But looks like I need to shoot something first. I feel like I'm being particularly thick on this, but like, we cleared these out. Normally you can just kind of follow the line, but I think usually there's a really obvious sort of node that you go, oh. That. Where is this guy? As you can see, I don't really rate the ammo for the blades. Like, they're helpful in their own way, but... So, presumably I gotta find some way up through the gate. I was thinking there might be like a loose bit I can throw a crate at, but... Unless it just lets me... Yeah.
Exiting zero gravity.
Maybe I don't need to get so clever about it. Oh, screw you in particular, sir. Okay, I'm thinking I should probably get myself a couple reinforcements here. Okay, presumably I have controls. Wait, did I just walk right by him? Probably. I kind of want to have some tea, but I'm assuming that all hell's going to break loose at any given moment, and I'm going to either spill it or have to put it down. Also noticed there's been a lack of save. Oh, there we go. Now, ideally, I'd like to waste fewer charges on that. I mean, I guess I don't really know what I'm up against next, so it might make a little more sense to try and carve those guys up rather than just keep blasting blades on them. Still, if I get a chance to be a little more precise, I should probably take it at this point. Although they haven't been too stingy with the ammo, I've noticed. I feel like I kind of say the same thing over and over again for this game, but I am struck a little bit by the difference between a few more than I intended to use, but something like Resident Evil, which does seem to rely quite a bit on shortages in order to build its suspense. To this game, which to a certain extent, you definitely feel the constraints in terms of like some of the parts. Like basically, you don't want to rely on your assault rifle every enemy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Oh right, I forgot this guy blows open to 200 annoying things. Yeah, so they don't spoil you in terms of ammo. Like, you do want to be somewhat thoughtful in terms of how you use it. But I would say that this is definitely a game where you feel like, I think it's fair to say that combat is a significant factor, and you do actually need to be able to fight your way through things. So it is kind of interesting just to see, like, they're definitely the whole process of like wanting to move back, like get some distance between yourself and the thing that's coming to get you. Again, that's been consistent through the whole game and very effective. And it's really interesting to see them do it in a situation where you know, you don't it seems to be kind of pushing against what you would expect in a normal horror game, which is to sort of say, you know, make every bullet count. Like, you're up against zombies, make sure you just use one bullet to the head as opposed to a whole bunch to the limbs. I guess some of it too is the design. So I think part of it is the fact that you do need to use multiple you know, multiple hits to be able to dismember the enemies, and the fact that they do actually tend to close the gap quite quickly. I think those are maybe a few things working in his favor, but it's just neat to see how it works. Because even though it's you know, an older game, it's something that it still sort of feels like it's running against what sort of common sense would sort of say is how these sorts of games are done, which is, of course, probably why it has the reputation and why it's so effective.
You're almost there, Isaac. Get the marker to the pedestal. Hurry!
Oh boy. This is the thing I actually wanted to be firing. I remember the look of this a lot better than I remember what actually happens. Presumably there's something that I just unlocked out of this, other than, you know, oops. I think I remember the first time I played this, I always had this sort of hope that maybe this time targeting this bit would, cured, close to a year. Did you do a sub that I missed? If so, thank you, thank you for hanging out. 10 months, gotcha. Yeah, anyways, so it used to be like I just kind of vainly, instead of searching around for the thing, I just sort of vainly hoped that maybe this time shooting it would work. I know better this time, but unfortunately I'm really thick. Yeah, fair enough. Well, thank you very much, Kieran. I do apologize you didn't get the whole song and dance, but if you have the opportunity to hit it again, you obviously feel free to do so, and you can witness the opening of the Ark. Oh, here we go. I feel like they're pretty nice with how they aim these blades, by the way. I want to switch back to flamethrowers. Basically, what I'm trying to do right now is avoid using the weapons that I really want to use when things get tough. So, you know, sometimes I have to use the... things are going well. I've got quite a bit on my plate on work, and again, I think a lot of stuff that I'm working on is going to finish off in a little bit. But I just happen to be in a particularly...
The night is coming. You have to make us whole.
I hope I didn't use the 3 on that. Okay, good. This is why I want to make sure that the assault rifle is available. Alright, patient log. Dr. G. Abernathy, Aegis 7 Clinic, automated transcript. Dr. Abernathy, I've quarantined with the former doctors Clifton and Hogan. We're barricaded in. I intend to keep a complete log no matter what happens out there. Different vectors of infection seem to be... Someone needs to keep a record. If the marker's signal can change a body from a distance, we need to know. Update. The chest of Dr. Clifton's corpse has started to expand like it's taken a deep breath. Something appears to be happening under the surface of the skin. The body is convulsing. There's A yellowish, briny liquid bursting from the mouth. He's choking, but he's... Oh god, I hope it's gas release. Okay, now there's the esophagus. It's bulging and the jaw is collapsing. The head... His head is splitting apart. It's reforming. It almost looks like a proboscis with feelers? The chest is splitting along the center now. The chest is splitting and it's stretching, expanding outwards as the internal organs, muscle, and bone are bent inwards. Can I get a scanner, please? No, the scanner. Thank you. So the internal organs have reorganized themselves. The structure isn't... There seems to be a central organ now resembling a massive bladder. The bladder is filling with a liquid, some of which can be seen spilling from the creature's proboscis. So the two must be connected. The legs are quivering violently. The flesh is peeling away and merging with the flesh from the chest. Fuck! Sorry, shit. The leg just bent backwards and... okay, now there's another one that just snapped back at the knee as well. And it's starting to sit up. It seems fully reanimated. Can we... Hello? Yeah, PSEC, anyone who's free. To euthanize. God, do I have to think of it? The splatter on the glass is making observation difficult. I miss that Dr. Hogan is also transforming, but it's not his legs are elongating, somehow flaying themselves. And they're twisting with the mixture of his own internal organs into a single appendage. It's like some sort of tail. His face is contorting, his jaw is clenching and unclenching. It's crunching in on itself, and shit, several jaw-like appendages are emerging from his mouth, but it can't accommodate the... Oh shit, his head is splitting open too, like Clifton's. I can't... Sounds of vomiting. Oh fuck, he's circling the room. It's not like Clifton, he's just hunting. Does he see me? No, the vents. He's going for the vents. PSEC! PSEC! Is anybody left? Sounds of impact, screaming, and organic crunching sounds. Anyway, yeah, so I mean, it's really busy at work, and I sort of wrapped up some things, but then I also sort of stumbled on something in terms of just, you know, I thought I was working on one thing. Turns out I was working on the wrong thing, and I should be able to get everything back on track, but it just wasn't how I was expecting to, wasn't really how I was expecting to spend the week. So other than just kind of being in a bit of, not distress, but definitely just trying to balance out the day. Oh, I screwed myself.
Now reunite it with the pedestal.
But yeah, I don't know. I just it's going to be a busy week for me, and I just need you know, a chance to rest.
Thank you, Isaac. I always believed in you.
Nicole.
We're whole again. We are whole.
Emergency. Geo-orbital gravity tethers offline. Tectonic load released. Impact imminent. All personnel, evacuate immediately.
Payload. I'll restart the tether. Buy us time.
No.
Rerouting gravity tether controls.
Come on, come on.
Forget it, Isaac. There's no fixing this.
Let her go, Daniels.
Let who go? Can't you see how delusional you are?
We've got to go. The payload from the planet Crack is about to fall.
I gave you a chance to come around, Isaac. But if you still won't see it, I'll help you. One last time. Rig override. This time, watch to the end.
Isaac, it's me. Oh, I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about everything. I just wish I could talk to someone. It's all falling apart here. I can't believe what's happening. Strange. Such a little thing. Just had a talk. That's all this research was in the end. Not much, is it? Just had to make it listen when he begged for convergence. But I had a different prayer. It spoke. And then it listened. Make this stop, I said. Maybe it understood, but... I can't return what was taken. Why can't I see you again, Isaac? I loved you. I always loved you.
You did this to yourself. Nicole's been dead this whole time. You just couldn't handle it, could you? Because if she's gone, at least now it'll be in safe hands. The marker won't turn anyone else into its puppet. Give me the loader remote.
No. It's over. We're whole again.
For Christ's sake, I'm not going to ask again, Cross.
No! Enough people have died!
Then just do it. I've got nothing left to lose.
Cross!
It's better this way, Isaac. You'll never recover from what the marker's done to you. And when the tectonic will drops, all this will be buried. Just like Earth got wanted.
Warning, seismic activity increasing. Evacuate to safe location.
So, sorry. Hello, Seasoned. Sorry, Kier, that I'm giving you these fragmentary answers, but obviously we're at a big story moment in the game. Again, a few details.
I can still make it before she leaves.
A few details I'd forgotten about, although I didn't exactly doubt that Nicole was not with us anymore. The other thing I keep forgetting is I actually kind of like the fact that they keep giving Isaac things to do as an engineer. So, you know, redirecting the tethers, trying to get out of locked rooms or reroute power and things like that. So, I mean, again, the primary action I'm going to be taking for myself is shooting stuff, but I think they do a decent job of sort of committing to the idea that he's got a particular skill set which makes him uniquely suitable to survive this situation. I'm gonna save first because I know sometimes when I do the upgrades I've had challenges. There's really no... Okay, actually, you know what? A couple of other ideas. So I've got two... Yeah, you know what? The rest is going into nodes. But also the idea that this line, you know, you won't survive what the marker's done to you, the idea that he is potentially too dangerous to live, the fact that he does survive the end of the game sort of sets up the sequel.
Last warning, Isaac. I mean it.
Because if I need extra ammo, I got it.
It's all I got left.
That cinematic sequence looked absolutely great, by the way. Definitely struggling a bit in terms of my, ah crap. Those are almost certainly gonna blow up. Damn it. I'm low on ammo on this thing, so I'm trying to... This thing's just too slow to... Achievement unlocked and disarrayed. I don't even know if that's doing any damage. I just have to hope that at least some of this is tickling it, because otherwise I don't really have any way of hitting this thing. Doesn't really feel like it's doing anything though, does it? Oh crap. I'm starting to feel like I didn't bring enough health. Oof. Unless it decides to be really forgiving health-wise, I don't see myself getting past the next couple of days. Nope. No! Damn it! I even got the health. That is such a shame.
Last warning, Isaac. I mean it. Isaac,
This is all I got left!
Alright, this is gonna suck. Should probably just let it flail around for a little bit. not great, but Jesus. This is going to be a little hard to maneuver. Ugh. I was hoping to try to be a little clever there, but that's bad angle. God damn it! Alright, I don't know how many more phases there are, but we've done okay. This again. Don't tell me it's about to crash in the finale. Well, we beat it once before, we can do it again. The good way to, I guess they've dragged you by your ankles, I think that's the third time they do that to you. Doing that on the last boss, though, is really a really nice touch. I'll confess, I haven't quite registered how the
Activity increasing. Evacuate to safe location.
I haven't quite registered how the boss whacking the ground quite works, but I'll sort it out. So yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit of a drag that I gotta do this all over again, but I'm reasonably confident.
I mean it.
I also think this is a good send-off to this character, right? Like, she's interesting, but she's also vicious. It gives Isaac a chance to be nice no matter what. But she still gets her comeuppance in the end. Probably shouldn't waste ammo while So I kind of wonder if I can just stay put and then move at the last second. That clearly is not moving at the last second. That was also me failing to read the situation. So ideally I can stack these all together. I don't think that's gonna work. Maybe. Again, if I can economize on the attacks. So the logic here is that I'm probably not going to be able to fire this thing against the hive mind when it's got me dragged. So if I can keep the assault rifle ammo for the last bit, assuming I survive. Anything I need here? Yes. Oh crap. Alright, there we go. Oops. I really need to keep it together. We're very close. But I'm also starting to behave like a bit of an idiot. The splatter on the screen is a really nice little touch at the end there. So if I remember correctly, this is the first time you actually see Isaac without the mask in the first one. Maybe I'm wrong with that.
Isaac, it's me. Oh, I wish I could talk to you. I'm sorry.
So, I'm sure most of you are already familiar with the game. What did you think of the remake or remaster for those of you who had not seen that yet? Or perhaps those of you that have seen it? I can offer my own thoughts. I'm sure it will shock everyone to find out that I really enjoyed this. Obviously, the crashes and such were a little bit of a drag, but I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the first game, although I definitely didn't remember. I didn't remember most of the major developments in the story, so it was kind of nice to be able to experience those again. My only regret is I'm not able to do the direct mapping between the original game and what they've done to sort of enhance it. But I don't know, like, all of the things. So there's actually, the funny thing is that some of the stuff I really like the most about this is stuff that like EA has done before. Now the thing is that, like, you can say EA has done it before, but that's obviously a big publisher and different teams. So I'm just sort of thinking, like, when you look up and see the fragment of the planet coming back down to the world, like, that reminds me a lot of what I felt when I played Battlefield 1 in that opening, when the Zeppelin kind of goes up in the final, goes up in flames in the finale of the intro. And again, it's not to suggest that that's, a direct line between the two of them, but, I will say that they do pretty consistently deliver the the big moments. And obviously in this case it was Motive doing it as opposed to the original team. But I think, in this one I just have to say all of the things that I remember liking about this one were present. And then it just carried with it the benefit that, it has all of the benefits of, the modern tech. But on top of that, done so in a way that really does feel like it enhanced the sensation. Like, I love that the cinematics at the end. Now, obviously, again, I'm streaming while I'm doing this, and probably my settings were a little high for what it should have been. But like, the idea that these cinematics are kind of seamless within the game, and I'm sure with a little bit more care to the settings, it wouldn't have even been a sort of a drop in terms of frame rates. Like, I really like that feature. I think if anything, that does continue to help with the visualizations. But on top of that, I think it's just a really neat. I think it's a neat story. Like, it's a really fun ride to go on to. I think they do a really good job of like a bag of tricks that they're able to just sort of put just enough spins on to never stop it from getting getting stale. But on the other hand, it's not like they're pulling out brand new things every single time either, right? So, the tentacle grabs you and you need to take the thing out before you get killed. Like, that's done, like I said, that's done 3 times in the game. The hunter comes up in multiple times. Dismemberment is a major feature in terms of all of the different fights. And yet they find different ways of just adding a little bit extra each time. So it's really, really well done. And then, of course, like I said, the atmosphere is wonderful. I have to imagine that Dead Space would have been wonderful to play, in 2024 as the original game. But on the other hand, like, I'm happy that this was redone. Because it just means that people are able to appreciate a really good game with another extra level of polish. And again, I know we talked a bit about the, we talked a bit about some of the ideas behind it too. The sort of inversion of the usual ideas of immortality that we have. And again, the marker, I thought was kind of neat. Because I think the one thing that I'd completely forgotten about The Exorcist, there's like the first time I watched The Exorcist, and then I was like a bit older when I watched The Exorcist, and I forgot that it actually does begin in a dig site in Iraq, which is kind of an important detail. Like, there are other references to it, but like the thing is like being able to enjoy it on its own is just this horrible story of demon possession. Like, I'm not entirely sure the archaeology is necessary to understanding it. Just added a bit more when I saw it. But yeah, the being able to see this world, see the little hints. I guess to a certain extent we talked about this a bit with the John Wick movies, and how I guess the one thing I liked was that it always hinted to a bigger and more Ishtar, like your demon's back. The idea of the strength of those movies often being at the world that was hinted at, as opposed to the realizations, and that maybe some of my not so much disappointment, but I thought I thought the subsequent movies were not improved by showing more of the background world. I don't know how much more of the world is developed in this, in the sequels, but I do like I like that there's just enough that the story is coherent, and you can, like I said, I think the developers have a really clear idea in terms of when you see Nicole doing certain things. I think they have a really clear idea in terms of what's happening in the real world, and I suspect that they probably had some ideas in terms of where what the whole story of the marker and the human-created marker is. But it didn't actually need to have a huge, like there was a little bit of just sort of I'm gonna speak plot at you segments, but there wasn't that much. Like, you could imagine there being quite a bit more. And I guess one thing I'm sort of hoping for a little bit when I play the sequels is that one movie that obviously is a touch point for these games. One movie that I thought did this really well was Alien and Aliens. So you have the original crew, and you have the creature, you have and you have the in-home character who knows a little bit more about what's going on. But again, there's a much bigger world that's hinted at, but never fully developed. And likewise, in the case of Aliens, the company is definitely developed. So you have, Weyland, was it Weyland-Yutani, I guess? You've got the character Burke. You definitely have some more of an idea in terms of how this world works. And of course, there's the presence of the Marines. So there's a little bit of an idea in terms of how the government works as well. And you even get to see, I guess the idea of the colonies, the shake and bake colonies, is introduced as something new, something that maybe wasn't around in Ripley's time. But again, it's really only in the special edition, I guess, that you get to see a little bit more about how those colonies work. So there's still a lot of the world that is, again, hinted at. And I mean, again, you've got the Marines, they're sort of telling their different stories. Never ever really developed, and they don't need to be. So in that case, I sort of feel like there was General Frostbite. He's the one who defends the Northwest Territories. I kind of feel like the nice thing here is special thanks to Leo Atreides. I guess it'd be Leto. But anyways, yeah, I feel again, I think the strength of this game definitely is that it develops enough. It gives you people to care about. It gives you a setting to be involved enough in that when things start coming out of the vents, you freak out a bit. The deeper you get in, the more you learn about the marker and its origins. But again, it never goes so far that it's a how do I put it? Like, it never crosses that line that sort of I talked about for John Wick, where it ceases to be interesting because they showed you too much and didn't allow your imagination. And again, my hope is that when it comes to the sequels, that it follows along those lines. And I suppose the last thing that I need to say on this note is that I am talking about the strength of this setting in the context of a remaster. Again, I hate that term because there's no master, right? But essentially, all of this is done in the. This is done sort of in the context of a game that's ultimately improved visually, right? It's all of the the technical elements. I don't think they've changed the story at all in this. At least not so far as I can tell. Obviously, I did things in a bit of a weird order, but not enough to I think completely eliminate. But I don't know. I feel like I've been rambling a little bit. I know there's a couple of you who are big fans of Dead Space, so what is it about the story and the experience that that draws you to it? I'm also wondering when it's appropriate to move on from the credits. Good music, though. I do kind of wonder what EA Gold is. Lieutenant Compliance, Lieutenant Linguistic Experts. Lot of data, people. You have no idea how much I would love to see what EA's sitting on. I guess Valve would probably be the most interesting data set to work with, but EA is a diverse and charismatic line of products. And I know that was actually one of the things Riccatello did. I mean, it didn't really seem to pay off, but I know he invested very heavily in their analytics. And that would be consistent with what he did at Unity as well. I better get an achievement for staying to the end. I do this with movies too. Mind you, I will say you do kind of learn a little bit just taking a look at the different roles that that are involved. Like I would never have imagined. Like I would have imagined there's a large number of people who work on it, but some of this stuff I wouldn't have even imagined as a role that you would need. There's also just too, so you've got insights, live service analysts, then you've got your data departments, and then I'm kind of curious about what the difference between those are. Olaf says part of what you like, sorry, just curious. Part of what you like about the story is how it continues in the next one, but I really like a lot of the implied story and the undertones and the pacing. Yeah, I definitely agree. I'll understand if you want me to just sort of enjoy it on my own, Olaf, but when I'm sort of talking about the interesting ways in which the world of Alien was developed in Aliens, as opposed to maybe shining a little bit too much light in the world, would you say that Dead Space 2 is more John Wick or more Aliens? And again, don't get me wrong, John Wick 2 is a good movie. Like, I sort of feel like the first one's kind of the best of the ones that I saw. I only saw the first three. I guess there's a fourth and maybe a fifth. Probably John Wick. Okay, fair enough. Well, part of the curiosity for it too, right, is that one of the advantages that Alien and Aliens had was that it was two completely different creators working on it. So you've got, if you only care about directors, it would be Ridley Scott and James Cameron. But on top of that, the original script is of course written by Dan O'Bannon. So you've got Dan O'Bannon sort of riffing off of something that he did with Dark Star with John Carpenter. Yeah, I think he also appeared in the movie. Alien does very well. It's successful, and then Cameron comes in to direct Aliens, but he writes it. Incidentally, he writes that alongside Rambo First Blood 2. He wrote both at the same time because some people apparently are frustratingly talented. Yeah, I don't know. I think there might be something. I mean, and obviously Aliens has its own preoccupations, right? Like, there's definitely a lot more. There's lots of moms in that movie, right? And that's definitely not true in the first one. So I suppose it's just kind of interesting too to see whether or not some of that is a function of two different creators trying to do their own thing. Or, man, could you imagine what it would be like to be a production baby on something like this? Like, at what age does your does mom and dad show you the progress has been saved and you have unlocked New Game Plus? Do I play New Game Plus or not? I don't know. Not on stream, that's for sure. Does it say what New Game Plus is? All right. I'm really happy I did this. I hope... I mean, obviously, when you stream something like this, and it's different from what people are expecting, and they don't like it, they don't stick around. But I do thank you guys for hanging out, particularly when I had some of the technical problems. I do need to wrap up for tonight. And I wanted to just give a bit of a heads up in terms of what's happening with the week. So it's a bit of a weird one in the sense that on Wednesday, I have the local game dev meetup. So that's always there. But this Friday, I'm not actually able to do a stream on this channel on Twitch. So this is actually it for the week on this channel here. However, I will say for sure that I am streaming on Friday. It's just that I will be streaming on a Steam page. And I think most of you already kind of know what's happening, but, you know, announcements will happen when announcements are ready. So the best thing to say, if you would like to hang out with me on Friday, the best thing that you can do is keep an eye out on Twitter. I'll also make sure to make a note on the Discord. Just, you know, if I know there's not a lot of activity on that, but the least I can do is let people know where they can find me. But yeah, I know that's going to be a little weird, but I'm also kind of happy about that because Monday we're going to be back to other things. I might do some more Old World just now that I've kind of got the Alexander thing worked out. And then I figure Wednesdays we can alternate between Phantom Brigade and Godless. And then Fridays we can have Cyberpunk. But what I'm kind of hoping to do is start just kind of cleaning out a few of the games that I've been hanging on to for a while. Have a clean slate, and then I think sometime around the fall there was, I know they've announced a month for House of Light, but there'll obviously be some Book of Hours in our future, and I don't know, I've been sitting on a few games that I would like to see, I'd like to kind of do on the stream. But again, just a reminder, if you would like to watch my stuff, it will be on Steam, not on Twitch on Friday. And again, you can follow me on Twitter or you can follow me on in the Discord. Let me actually take a minute to put that up just so you all can see. And if you just want to watch me for the normal times, Monday we will probably be back to strategy games for a bit. Wednesday we will be, again, alternating between Phantom Brigade and Godless. And Friday we will be taking care of Cyberpunk until we finish that. For those of you that want to check out the Discord, there it is there. And Prosciutto Fist is playing The Witcher 3. I'm going to rate her tonight. Have fun with the other streams and hopefully catch you on them. If not, have an awesome week. Well, thank you, Olaf. Again, if I'm at the local game dev meetup, there's no real stream for that, but it's definitely a cool group of people. Some of you have seen Eric and his Bullet Hell or his his various Pico 8 games. For those of you who don't know, Spring Falls is a wonderful game, but one thing that is also worth noting about Eric is he's also worked on games like Cuphead and Tunic. He is, I would say, fairly in demand and incredibly talented game designer. So he's definitely been associated with a couple of other indies that you know. Also, some developers that show up every once in a while there are the people behind Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes. So there's this really nice spectrum of people who make a living and are very, very good. Like, by any standard, critically and commercially, are very good at what they do, alongside a bunch of indie people who have no intention and no interest in making any money with what they're doing. They are doing that purely as a mode of expression, and it's at a cool local bar. Like, it's this neat kind of. It's got a bunch of sort of Soviet propaganda posters and all of that around it, and it's actually somebody at my local coffee shop was familiar with it too. Anyway, I'm going to shut up. Please enjoy Prosciutto Fist stream, and I will see some of you next week, some of you on Friday. Till then, take care. Hey, Resolve Rive Snow, thank you.
Lackens killed some of them. Others kicked us out themselves. Too many mouths to feed, they said.
I was not muted, it was just the microphone decided to switch inputs. That's crazy. Hi, Eric. System Chalk, thank you for the raid. Very expressive reactions, you don't need to listen. That's so crazy. We've been on here for like 14 minutes. I didn't really say anything that interesting though. Yet. It must be because my power went out. Probably fucked with my shit.
Be sure to share it with the others.
Thank you. Here, for you. For your kindness.
What did she give me?
Your eyes. These like me kitty cats.
A dog. Oh, secret society. So mad that I was muted. Wait, what the fuck? She gave me a lot of shit. Why did she have that? Oh, wait, I should not loot from them. Yeah, I took a nap.